Welcome to the latest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, report from Impact 2023. ECI's Impact 2023 was one of the leading compliance events in the year of 2023. At this conference, Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, was able to visit with several of the speakers, exhibitors, participants, and one group from an ethically minded Girl Scout troop in New Jersey. In this limited podcast series, Tom explores many of the most cutting-edge topics in ethics and compliance through short podcast episodes. Check out the full series of interviews. You will be enlightened, informed, and come away with a fuller and more thorough understanding of the most cutting-edge topics in ethics and compliance. Check out this episode of Report from Impact 2023. Hello everyone, Tom Fox back for another episode of ECI Impact 2023. Today I'm thrilled to have Carsten Tams with me. Carsten, first of all, welcome.
Good to be here, Tom. Nice to see you.
So Carsten, you're attending this year. You're not speaking, but I wanted to maybe ask you some of your observations so far.
Yeah, no, and I mean this is a flagship event for ECI. You know, the ethics compliance enthusiasts are coming together here. I thought Pat delivered a great opening speech this morning. Strong call to action for us as an ethics and compliance profession to really get at the front of environment, social, and governance. I'm very impressed. It's great.
Carsten, you and I had the chance to do a podcast series together where we took a look at design thinking and compliance. But what we really talked about, I thought, was how do you generate engagement? Mm-hmm. And what I heard from Pat, what I heard from Nick Gallo, was we have the opportunity to really converge a lot of different ideas, business processes, and even perhaps disparate business disciplines to drive engagement. If that's a fair assessment for what you heard, why do you see engagement literally as, if not the key, one of the key drivers for ethics and compliance going forward?
Thanks for that question. I love it. A lot of what we do in ethics and compliance is about creating solutions for employees. So we create codes of conduct, we have trainings, we have ethics websites, reporting websites, things of that nature. And the question is, from a design point of view, how do we design these things in such a way that they are being used? So when the event occurs that an employee confronts a situation where they have a question, they are not sure, or maybe they observe behavior that is problematic, they hear about a business decision that is being discussed that they see as problematic from an ethics or compliance point of view, how likely is it that they will say, oh, you know what, we have a code of conduct and it provides really useful guidance, or they say, we have an ethics and compliance department and those are good people, I trust them, The answer to this question really depends on the extent to which they feel positively engaged. That means, we really have to, when we design these solutions, we have to consider, how do we design them so that they resonate, that people see them as positive, as something that's useful to their needs. So it's really about people-centered design. It's a little bit a new concept. I think we in compliance, we come off from the regulation, from the legalistic side, and say, okay, what do people need to know? We don't consider really that much what they want to know. But what our discussion also reminds us today, the discussion around ESG, is that in many regards, we have catching up to do with employees. They are leading with their values. They already want businesses that are environmentally conscious, that are socially conscious. So that's what engagement is about: is meeting where they are with their values.
The not simply meeting employees where their values are, but giving them an opportunity to express those values and what they do. Do you see that as a goal of ethics and compliance as well?
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you're adding that perspective. I actually think that a strong ethical culture is one in which people are truly empowered to share their perspective. Ethical culture is created every day as employees come to work, and they give voice to their values, as Mary Gentilly calls it with her great book. If you create that culture, that is kind of how also sociologists describe it that way. That is how culture is produced and reproduced every day. It's this informal influence that we exert on each other by seeing when do people raise an eyebrow, when do they speak up, when do they interfere as active bystanders. That is kind of what creates that strong social ethical fabric in an organization that will ultimately create resilience against misconduct.
Well, Carsten, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time for this episode, but I wanted to thank you, and I look forward to the rest of the conference.
It's always great to talk to you, Tom. Thank you.
This is Tom Fox. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Report from Impact 2023. We've linked to the guest information in the show notes, as well as ECI. Check out the ECI website for upcoming events, reports, and other information. Report from ECI 2023 is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.